Hey you, it's Raven Scry. How are you today? It's been a while. What's been going on? Please let me know down below. I feel as though I've lost a bit of contact with some of you because I've been a little bit elsewhere, not posting as much as normal, but it's exciting times, moving into exciting times, and it's certainly been testing if we're talking about crypto. So many of us have been here waiting for alt seasons. And do the alt seasons ever come? It's like, are we going to get one or are we not? As far as I feel, from what I get from Spirit, I feel as though we will. But it's as if, when tuning into the timeline, it's as if there's multiple trajectories that kind of cross paths, and so we go through one trajectory for a while and then it'll jump onto the other. And it's as if also within that, the mass collective focal points, when the whole collective starts to think, okay, we're moving this way, it's going this way, then of course it doesn't go that way. It's as if the balancing side of that turns and goes the other direction. So it really is a fine dance here in this space. But I do feel like we're about to witness some pretty nice movement, and perhaps it is the time that we've been waiting for, the months that we've been waiting for. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be an easy ride, but perhaps this is the time. So what I wanted to do today is just have a little scroll, like we've done in the past. I know I've been quite absent, so it's nice to connect with you guys. I've missed being here. Life has just been a little bit crazy and hectic and busy for me. But it's nice to connect and really have this vision of crypto. The vision of crypto that I've been here in this space for a good 5 years or so now. And, it's certainly tested me on so many levels. But I'm still here, and I'm here with you today. So let's have a little scroll. Just tune into any thoughts, anything that Spirit might wish to share. It's going to be, quite short and sharp, so it won't go too deeply into anything. But just if anything comes up that's meant to be shared, it will. Now, I do go further into details with more investigation of different cryptos and whatnot over on my Patreon, the lovely community of people we have over there, and they're all such sweet people, and getting together and getting the vision of crypto going. And really it's like they're little detectives and sleuths that come in with information and know often what Spirit's referring to when they go on their rants of information and clues, because I certainly feel like bringing everyone's minds together is more powerful than just one on its own when it comes to connections of what Spirit might be talking about as well. So working together certainly feels positive in this space. So if you feel to, pop on over and visit us over on Patreon for a little bit deeper dives and monthly forecasts and whatnot. But for today, here we are. So all right, so Bitcoin's at 117,854. Wow. Oh my, hasn't it moved? It's quite amazing how much it's moved. And, we're sort of holding there at this time. Everyone was kind of thinking last week, it was like, oh, is it going to go? Is it going to go? But then it pulled back a little bit. Are we going to go? Are we going to? And one day it's just going to go pop and start moving. It was the same with ETH last week. This thing of like, okay, is it going to move past? Was it about 4,800? But we're back at 444-ish. Certainly feeling positive around both ETH and Bitcoin at this time. XRP, feel quite positive around that one as well. BNB is interesting because it just feels as though it just keeps climbing over the years, and it's just a sort of a quiet achiever doing a lot, and whether it's being noticed or not, it feels like it's going unnoticed. But perhaps it's not. I mean, it is in the top 5. Strong project. But Solana, okay, what have we got for Solana, Spirit, moving forward? Yeah, it feels powerful. Big energy, movement here. I do feel like when the market surges, we're going to see a lot of this stuff go up. But it's really like, what are the ones you want to hang on to? You know, are you in this for the short term? Are you in this for the long term? But if you're in it for the short term, we'll just pick some and ride the wave, I say. And, you know, hopefully get the lucky ones, like the 100Xs and the small market caps. But, you know, it's dicey. It's a dicey, risky place to play in. And you've got to be prepared to kind of lose the lot if you're in that space. But certainly people make their riches as well. And as I said, we're investigating some smaller crypto projects over in my Patreon at the moment. But yeah, small ones that might ride fast and high, and then ones like Cardano, which clearly feels like it's going to be one that's going to move well. You know, if we're in here for stable holds, I do feel like Cardano, you know, holding it over the years, you'll see nice growth. You're going to see reasonable movement. And, you know, some of these cryptos will disappear. We know that. They'll just fall away, fizzle out, and you'll never hear from them again. They'll just be like these things. Oh, what was that again? You know? But I feel like ADA will push on. I also feel like Link will push on well and has quite a bit of strong conviction, strength behind it. Yeah, there's a lot of strength as I connect to this one today. And generally I have that sense, but I feel like there's this strength, extra strength is being shown here. Now, hype, I have spoken of hype before. I've felt quite good about hype, but there was something about some sort of leaking energy going on. Whether there's some sort of hack or there's some energy that's taking from it. That's not to say it's not going to pick up and do well later on, but there's something that's taking from it, is what has come through before. All right, what do we have here? As we move down, just note that, I'm not going to touch into every project, but just the ones that I feel to touch into. Connecting to Suie, it's interesting because as I connect to Suie, it's like what they show me is like a project that's doing watch the words here. That's just interesting the way the words are going to come through. Okay. So a project that's doing certain cycles over and over, it's repeating within the same space over and over. This is what they're showing me. It's going around and around and around, but it doesn't appear to be moving. And then it's as if something goes crack and it moves all of a sudden. So it's like it's doing cycles within its own cycles, but each time it goes around, it gains a greater velocity of energy. It's building energy. It's being more wound up, it feels like. And then it's going to come to a point where it just suddenly goes and it's going to take off with quite a bit of speed, it feels like. And it's actually interesting because as I connect to that, it reminds me of back in the last bull run. I remember looking at the charts, and this must have been in like 2020 or 2021, but looking at the charts and everything was going up. Oh, whoa, like everything. But one that wasn't going up and that was $3 was Sol. And I'm like, Sol, and there's something about Sol that spoke to me. I thought, ooh, I've got to have some of that Sol, it's something feels good with the Sol. And I kind of went and got some of it and, hung on to it for a while it did go up at that time. But, not to get off the track here, it's reminding me, Suie is reminding me of Sol because Sol was $3. That's where I was seeing it originally. And that's where I first bought it. Didn't hang on to it for all, for the whole time until we got to here. And, wow, it would have been a pretty amazing run, wouldn't it, if I had of. But what I'm saying is Suie's giving me the same vibes and it's around the same price. So that's an interesting kind of thought. Perhaps it's going to be the next one that does that. Maybe it will mirror Solana's movement. Who knows? All right, I'm going to jump now. I'm going to jump now to Hbar. I feel as though there's a sense of stability here with Hbar, and pretty nice growth as we move up. Avax, Avalanche, there has been some stagnation with it. It hasn't moved a great deal, although Spirit has spoken about it being a special one. Avalanche, Avax. It feels like it's going to move along, then it's going to just suddenly jump up to a new level. In the way they show it, it's like it seems like it's just staying around here forever, and then boom, suddenly it's moved, and I don't know, is it moved up to 35 or perhaps more, but they just show a new level that it's at and has some sort of base or foundation at. But overall, Avax, Spirit, they're talking about it going quite high. And it's interesting too, because I almost feel like it has an element of B&B in its energy. Something's unseen here, something's not being noticed. So that's quite interesting. Okay, what have we got here? Shib. Okay, hang on. Okay, so touching into Ton. Ton feels positive. But there is some sort of mention of a rollover that they speak of with Ton. But it does seem to be moving up, but they're just saying rollover at some point. Because like it moves up to a point and there's something they're speaking of with rollover. Okay, Uni. Oh, see, I sort of avoided Shib. Why am I skating around Shib? For some reason, I don't want to look at Shib. But maybe I will. Shib. Okay, Shib Spirit. I see it's going to have some pretty nice runs. It reminds me it's just going to kind of take off quite quickly with the market when everything starts moving. And it feels like, okay, it gets to a point, then boom, just goes. But it goes on a tear that's quite high, but then pulls back quite significantly, is what they show. Now, I'm going to skip down to Uni. I feel a lot of strength with Uni. What do we got with Uni, Spirit? I feel as though they're taking me out beyond this year. Talking about another financial competitor, it's as if I feel like that, because Uniswap is very connected within ETH. And the way that ETH moves, usually Uni is kind of moving with it, but it's as if there's going to be some sort of competitor that may come and take a part of its pie, a share of its pie, is what Spirit is saying. A share of it. It's like it comes to take a piece. So there's some other competitor that will come along. And they talk about capitalization, other companies wanting to have capitalization over some sort of trade here, and it becomes very locked in and quite official, is what I'm seeing here. All right, I might just do a couple more, and then I might head off for this Sunday, because it's there's a little bit of sun, and I might try and catch the rest of it. So, DOT. Okay, DOT has just... Okay, where has DOT been? It's at $4, and DOT was at $4 about whenever it came out. It was 2020, 2021. I think it was around that time. 2021, I think it came out. It was about $4. I think we're still there. DOT. Spirit. There's a sense of surprise here, but there's also a sense of like stagnance. What have you got to say around dot, Spirit? Talking about some sort of financial stability being of importance, but it's as if it's not taking off. It feels a bit stagnant. Are we going to get reasonable growth with dot, Spirit? I'm not getting a great deal around dot. They're not giving me a great deal of information at this time, so let's just move on. Pepe, okay, good old Pepe. 1119. There's a nice number at the end. Pepe, number 40. What have we got, Spirit? Have we got anything for Pepe? I feel like they show me a movement, pretty decent movement up. Then they show me a pullback, a rounded bottom, and a bigger move up is what they show me here. And it's as if, the market's taken some sort of run up and then it's pulling back. And at my guess, it's in the way that it feels, it's like then it pulls back while everything's pulling back, and then it shoots up when we get another shooting move. Everything starts to run, and then off it goes again, is what they show. And it's interesting too, because what they show in these readings often are movements that alts do that the larger market is also doing. They mimic and mirror the larger market, which is what happens at this time in the larger market with Bitcoin and ETH. But certain ones mirror what's going on, and it kind of indicates the pathway forward as well for the other big ones, the leaders. So that's kind of interesting. Let's go for one more. I'm just going to go for it until it... What have we got? I'm just going to do one last selection. I just want to feel a vibe, just to feel an energy, Spirit. Just support me to feel an energy of the one that I'm supposed to connect to toward the end of this session. Okay, S. Sonic. It's as if there's an old energy with Sonic. Now, I know Sonic to be... It used to be Phantom, I believe. So perhaps that's why it's an older energy. And in the way that it feels like it's older... It's like it's older... It's built out of older things in the way they show it. And perhaps it's an older system. Or older technology, or something about it is older, is what they express. And it's not... Age is not so much a thing, but just an outdatedness, something that hasn't necessarily developed more, something that is perhaps outdated within what it is. Emphasis is put on that, but I feel like there's going to be reasonable movement up, and it's reminding me of, BCH. It's reminding me of, it's going to definitely have some reasonable movement, this one. Because it's like it's an old classic. There's an old classic energy with it. But what's really bringing to mind, the forefront in my mind, is a project called Life3, LIF3. And the person who was very connected to it is the creator of that project. He's coming into my mind, and I believe he was very connected to Phantom as well. But there is a project, Life3. It's quite a small market cap at the moment. Feel quite positive about that one. And like we could see some pretty significant moves there. So look it up, see what you think. LIF3. Take a look into it. Feels pretty powerful, but I also feel like Sonic will move well as well. But again, they want to show other information, piggybacking off other altcoins. So, yeah, quite interesting. Okay, friends, I'm going to leave it there for today's altcoin scroll. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's nice to just connect, be laid back, just have a little chat, have a little connect with spirit. Not too much pressure, just surfing the CoinGecko chart, on this Sunday afternoon. Hope you're all very well, and hope you're enjoying the day or the evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. If you'd like to hear a little bit more from me and connect to our beautiful community over on Patreon, please come along and join us there. But otherwise, I wish you all the best of luck for this next round of crypto that we're entering. Exciting things to come. I'll be back again with more videos soon. Sending you all many blessings, and travel safe, my friends. Raven Scry signing off.